Hello, worldly crazy people out there. My name is Michael. I like wizards and dragons and making games, and welcome back to making 3D wizard games in Game Maker. So last time we went and implemented multiple choice options in the cutscene system, which is pretty fun. This is something that people usually get fairly excited about. It's not difficult to do, but it's also not always straightforward how you can do it without making a mess of your code. So this is working. Today we are going to continue enhancing our cutscene system, and I believe I have down add user functions to the Chatterbox system. So this shouldn't be too difficult, but I do want to add some functions that can be accessed from the various yarn scripts and allow us to do things in the world, such as common examples will be modifying the player's HP, adding a spell, that kind of thing. How this is done now, like internally to the game, all of this is kept track of by a little game state class here, which has values such as currency, current and maximum health, your list of known spells, your list of other things. And I'm going to start mostly by creating a little interface to go between Chatterbox and this system over here. So there's a couple things. So the only data types that you can really pass between Chatterbox and like the Game Maker system are going to be Boolean types and numeric types. I mean, string types and numeric types, which kind of encompasses Boolean types. Which means that things like knows spell, if I pass you a spell constructor, we're going to have to do a little bit of extra work to like turn that from a string into a spell type or something like that. But that shouldn't be too hard. Add card, remove card, card ID. That's just a much the same thing. It shouldn't be hard either. I see a lot of these are actually done by ID. Anyway, let me go and... I think I'm going to go into the obj underscore cutscenes create event, and I'm just going to like dump this at the bottom. Some people would like to throw this in like a user event or something like that, just so that we can like keep it in a separate location and you don't have one file that's like a million lines long. I don't really have a philosophically strong position on this. I'm perfectly happy to use regions in this way to collapse large bits of code. Anyway, the way that we would connect one of these to Chatterbox would be, and I just copy these in here so that I can like see them without having to flip back and forth. Chatterbox add function. And this is going to add a function with a name and a function callback to the Chatterbox system. And let's see, let's start with the easy ones. Health, player health and that kind of thing. Add health, remove health, get health percent. So, what version of Chatterbox am I actually on? Because that will, believe it or not, make a difference. Because at one point... Hang on, let me actually see. At some point, Chatterbox was actually changed so that the way that you access the arguments within a function is, like, different. So previously, this would have just been a single array. Kind of like the array of command line arguments if you've ever used, like, C or something. But in semi-recent versions, Chatterbox function array arguments... yeah, GameMaker added a function called script execute extended, which... You don't really need to know the details, but it means that the actual arguments can be expanded into the function. So I can just write this like normally, and GameMaker, I can write this normally, and we can take different arguments within the function itself here. So add function. So this can be add health. If we want, we can maybe prefix all the player functions with like player add health or something like that. And then within the body of this function, we can sort of just turn that into game_state.add health. The amount is going to be the amount. I think these are all going to come in as strings. So I said strings and real numbers before, but it's really strings because this is text-based. Like, if Chatterbox sees, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 somewhere when it parses the Chatterbox file, it doesn't know if that's the number 12,345 or if it's the string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we can easily just, since we know this is supposed to be a real number, we can just turn that into a cast it like this. Anyway, this is going to be our alias for adding player health. We can do this with things like remove health. We can say player remove health, and then maybe just to test that this is working later, we might want to like print out how much health you have in the game state function. But let me just get through these. Get health is going to be a function to return a value, so you can return values and do things with them in Chatterbox. And this will not take an argument. This is just a getter function. I'll get to that in a minute. And get health percent. Say player get health percent. That can also be a getter function. So that should be enough to get started with so that we can see if this is working. The way that you access the getter functions like in text so that you can do things like get player name or whatever, that's a little bit not hard, but I never remember exactly what the syntax is, and I'm going to have to go dig through the Wizarducks code to see exactly what I did before. Anyway, to call a function, we can use two angle brackets like this, and then we can say player add health, and we can just say add health, add 1 health if you agree with them, remove 1 health if you don't agree with them. Let's put some text here just so that we know something happens. So we're going to have the NPC damage you if you disagree with them. Very nice of them. If I open up the Wizarducks project, let's go into words, demo. I think this should have some usages of this. If nothing else, I think I use this for like metadata in here somewhere. Hang on, let me find a good example. All right, apparently it's just putting a function name within brackets like this, within curly braces like this. So I can just say you have player get health. So you have that much HP left. Let's try this. Let's see if this works properly on the first try. It probably isn't, because things usually don't work properly on the first try, but you never know. Alright, so you're gonna talk to me. We can talk to you. I'm gonna say no, and you're gonna damage me. I have 9 HP left out of 10. Let's see. If I do that again, if I disagree, I should have 8 HP left out of 10. If I agree with you, you should give me some HP back, and we have 9 HP left again. Alright, that worked on the first try. That's nice. So we can also do other things. This isn't immediately relevant, but if I were to go back in here and edit this again, we can add a little bit more. And I can say something like, if player get health is less than 10, then we can say something like, you don't look so good. And then we can say else and then end if at the end. Because Chatterbox yarn script here does not have curly braces. We do use like if, else if, end if notation here. A little bit antiquated from a programming language point of view, but you did not like that. Why did you not like that? Did I mess something up? Oh, for some reason I thought it said like node start not found in test, and I was like, did I delete something? But it says unfinished action found in node, which means that that's basically a syntax error of some sort. Oh, and that's going to be because I forgot one of those angle brackets there. Yeah, parsing text code is hard. All right, let's try that again. So if I say no and you're going to damage me, he's going to tell me I don't look so good. And if I then come back, say yes, you're going to heal me, and you're going to respond based on that. So that's good. We can make a commit for basic cutscene function interaction. The lovely thing about Chatterbox is that like this just works, and I don't have to really deal with it aside from defining the callbacks over here. This is the kind of thing that, like, if you do it yourself, it takes a really long time and it's really annoying. But if you find someone who's already written the code for you, it's not that bad. All right, so that's going to be health. We can also do spells, so player knows spell. And I don't think I'm going to test all these today because I don't want this video to go on for like an hour. I'm just going to leave comments for untested, and we can make sure that they work as we come up on them. And since these are all going to be spell names, we can go with an input parameter of the spell name, and then I can just do a little bit of a lookup. So we have bounce, flower, mind read, push, time, and unlock. Okay. There's like a spell database somewhere in here, right? There isn't, but I think I'm gonna just write one. This should be a struct. It's gonna take keys that are gonna look like bounce, obj spell, bounce, push, obj spell, push. So this is just going to be a little lookup table, which is going to allow us to map spell names onto actual spells. You know what? Let's make this lowercase. No, I won't make it lowercase. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to use this anywhere that's going to be like user-facing and capitalization matters. This is just going to be code. So let's say spell type is going to be spell lookup struct accessor spell name, and then if spell type is not equal to undefined, game state dot knows spell. We can return game state dot knows spell spell type, else return false. Spells are accessed elsewhere by the object type, right? Yeah, they are accessed elsewhere by the object type, so that's fine. We're also going to have add spell and remove spell. All right. Player add spell. This is not going to be a return value. That's just going to be a straight command. And remove spell is also not going to be an accessor. It is also just going to be a straight command. So that should be the spells. Again, not going to test them. Going to leave a comment saying that they're untested, but I can't imagine that anything's going to go wrong. We can also say something like for the currency versions, player add currency. Let's prefix all of these, please. And that's actually going to be a lot like add health, isn't it? So just go and not do some of that. We can add currency. The real value of the amount. And that can be negative by the looks of it. Oh, we don't have a get currency. Definitely I'm going to want to write one of those here. And I suppose I'm normally not that into like frivolous accessors like this in GameMaker, but I also like it when all my code looks the same. So we can say get currency and then just return our currency value. All right, so that's gonna be spells. That's gonna be currency. Cards, quest. I will not do quests yet because I have not decided exactly what I want that data structure to look like. And data structure access. I'm sure I will be getting to that later. Actually, obviously based on the fact that it's here, I did something with it, but okay. So there is some kind of collectible card data. Oh, it's probably something like this, isn't it? Okay, so this serves a similar purpose to the spell database that I wrote a minute ago, and these are all lowercase, so maybe for the sake of consistency, I should lowercase them. Like, it doesn't matter to me, but I do kind of want all my code to look the same, because if you don't, you tend to run into problems. So let's go and take some of this. And is there like a get card by ID function somewhere? Say player add card, gamestate.add card. There is not, so it's just going to be a straight lookup into the table here. So card type can be like card DB, card name, like this, and then we can rename this to card type. This should work. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. This is, again, not going to be an accessor. Let's do remove card next. I can't see any reason this wouldn't work, but it is still technically untested. Add remove has card is apparently the verb that I decided to name this one. Add remove has card instead of like get card or whatever I did for like health and stuff. So if the card exists, you'll return whether or not you have the card, else if you try to check a card that doesn't exist. It should probably error, honestly. And the same thing for the spells, but should I make them error? So like else show message or show error. Just say spell does not exist. Spell name. Like that. Can do the same here, and we can do the same when we remove a spell. Currency doesn't have any error checking. Adding cards. Card does not exist. Card name. And also when you remove a card. Don't need the else after the return. And, alright. So lastly, we're going to have quests, so start quest, complete quest, remove quest, that sort of thing, which is ultimately pretty much the same thing as any other data that you might add to the inventory when you get down to it. So that's going to be quest name. I'm sure that there is going to be start quest. I'm sure that there is going to be a database that I can go and just check if I did something like this, and indeed there is quest DB, and it's got some states for the quest state started, not started. There's gonna be a little more there because I'm going to need to add the like quest state IDs to the system. Let's see, start quest, complete quest. It's going to be largely the same. A lot of this video is going to be copying and pasting stuff, by the way. Sorry about that in advance if you're not into copying and pasting. But setting up the database like this does tend to entail a lot of that. Let's see, start, complete. What's next? Remove quest. It's also going to be very much like this. And honestly, some parts of game dev are just like this. Not everything is going to be like exciting. Oh, look, we made a thing move around on the screen. Because sometimes you do actually just have to like stare at data for a long time. Has started quest is going to be an accessor. So we can return something there. And if it doesn't really make sense to return false after this does it, because like the game is going to crash by design. So I guess I can safely remove those return statements. Start quest, complete quest, remove quest, has started quest, and also has completed quest is going to be the last one. Oh, so there isn't a set quest state. I thought there was, but if there isn't, I wonder if that's going to be because, like, did I forget? Or did I hold off on that on purpose? Actually, when I think about it, I guess that's just what, like, start, complete, and remove are for. So if it's not started, it's going to return, the state is going to be not started. If it's in progress, it's going to be that. All right, never mind. So if I run this, at least things shouldn't crash. And I guess I'll leave that to be my degree of testing for today. Yeah, things didn't crash. I can walk up to the NPC and, like, we're not using any of that, except for the health-related ones, so we can just stop. There's a little more in Chatterbox. And again, I'm going to turn over to the side for, to see Wizarducks on my other screen. And then there's going to be stuff like Chatterbox set variable, which you can use to set actual variables, which you can access in Chatterbox. There's also Chatterbox set constant, which is if you want a variable that does not vary. But I don't have any immediate uses for those right now, so I'm not going to. And as I said, I did want this video to be a little on the shorter side. Future things like this are probably going to be off-screened, because, like, now that I've shown how it works, I don't want to spend a great deal of time showing it again in the future. But yeah, I just wanted to spend some time doing that, and I think now we can added the rest of the game state functions to Chatterbox. I'm going to end this off here. This can be 0.53. As always, if you want to see the code for this, look for the GitHub repository down in the description of the video. Next time, we're going to be doing something that's hopefully a little bit more interesting, and that is going to be basic user functions. And really that... wait, what did that entail? Oh, print, wait, fade in, fade out. Okay, I won't check that off yet. I will check off this one. Like, all of these, because I did... Why did I make this, like, 8 points of effort? Because that was, like, almost all copy and paste. Whatever. I'll check them off because I want to feel accomplished. And the scroll bar jumps back to the top every time I hit a checkbox. So maybe in the future I will not have that many checkboxes in a Codecks card. So, that's that. User functions like this, print, wait, fade in, fade out. I think that's going to be part of the actual, like, cutscene scripting that I'm going to do. And I'm going to do that next time. So we'll make NPCs able to walk around. We'll make NPCs able to, like, wait for a time, turn on the spot, that kind of thing. Things like physical stage directions is what I usually call them. Blocking, I guess, if you're really into theater, would be the term. I like stage directions. I think it's cute. So we're probably going to do that next time. I don't know if that's going to be done in one video or if that's probably more likely going to be split into multiple videos, because I do think that's going to actually take a long time, because there is going to be a lot that we have to do there. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot more visually interesting than this one, because we're going to actually see the results of what we did play out on screen. So, let's just have a look at our burn down chart. This might be a little bit... No, it's still not showing. I recorded the last video and this one back to back, so that might have messed up the, like, card total a little bit, but not really. Anyway, my name is Michael. I like Wizards and Dragons and making games. I like to make videos on weird stuff you can do in Game Maker, so if stuff like this appeals to you, feel free to subscribe. I make a lot of tutorials about shader stuff and 3D stuff and whatever. I have a Patreon, so if you want to contribute to the channel, links to that can be found in all the usual places. You should all go check out Wizarducks and the Lost Hat, which is one of the games that I like to work on when I'm not doing YouTube stuff. Link to that Steam page can be found down below. I hope you all enjoyed that, and I will see you all later. Special thanks to Zenjamin, Zach Robinson, Squarecrow, Spy-Dye Games, Pixelated Pope, Manta Ray, Game Maker, Game Art Indie, Edward Holt, DJ Gibbles, Brenton, and gamedev for supporting these videos. If you want to contribute to the channel, head on over to the Patreon page down in the video description to join the fun.